Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Simon LeGood. We're here for the November version of the Kandy Technical Fireside Chat. This is going to be a session where we're talking about the product portfolio for Skyvera. So we're going to go into some details about some of the products and services that are available to you. On the session today, we've got several guest speakers. We've got David Pepin, who's the Director of Global Partners. We've got Sarah Hughes, who's the SVP of Americas Sales and Customer Success. And we also have Todd King, who's our Chief Revenue Officer. And they'll be taking us through the session this morning, talking about all the different products and services. You do have, we're going to be doing some new things today. So we're going to have some polling questions that are going to be available to you. We're going to be playing some videos live in the session. We are going to have all lines muted, but feel free to use the questions area if you do have questions. And again, I would encourage you to participate in any of the polling questions that we put out there. It'll help kind of give us some ideas on products that you may be interested in hearing more about. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Sarah and she'll kick us off.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Simon. And again, welcome everybody. I know several of you have asked to have us do this. So without further ado, let's kick the party off. So many of you have been on previous webinars where we talked about how Skyvera now owns Kandy, and Skyvera is owned by a company called Telco DR. Daniel Royston owns that. And her big mission is to take everything to the public cloud. The reason why I mention that is some of these have to do with AWS and some of them are not. But one of the things particularly about this is that the way the acquisition strategy is not that they acquire a company like a private equity firm and squeeze out everything they can and then, you know, flip it and sell it outward to another potential buyer. So that's not the way Skyvera works. Skyvera keeps the products and makes them available to other companies, you know, or to their customers. So that's what we really want to talk about today and give you a little peek into some of these products. So this is a smattering of the products here, and I've put underneath it, each one of them, a summary of it. So STL, we acquired a portion of the STL business and has a lot of business support systems and a few things that might be of interest to you. So we're going to cover that today. Many of you, well, all of you are Kandy UCaaS and Teams customers. And so the real-time communications within that. We're not going to cover that today because you should already know that, but absolutely anybody who might be interested later, we're happy to discuss that. We will talk about the acquisition of NewNet for mobile network transformation, changing your network. They had an application content delivery platform acquisition called Pure App. And then we are going to talk about response tech today. This one is an interesting one for, and near and dear to my heart because of my background in customer experience and customer success, but tracking and reporting and analyzing data from your customers. Service Gateway has been a very interesting product for many of the Kandy resellers and distributors. And this allows you to bring in and manage devices, similar to how Kandy UCaaS does in zero-touch provisioning, but at a grander scale and more flexibility. So we will cover that today. Mobility helps with mobile phone optimization, especially those of you who have retail phone locations. And then an acquisition, Vasana Networks, where it was basically a mobile data network controller. Accurus was carrier Wi-Fi. Volt Delta was a contact center solution that they acquired that was a multi-channel. And then two here are not acquisitions, but are organic growth. And so Togi will talk about his focus on AWS, monetization of new product rollout, and so on. And so Todd Ramsey, our Chief Revenue Officer, will talk about that. And then CloudFix is also based in AWS and helps to optimize that software. So we're going to talk about that as well. So again, a few things here. We won't talk about all of them because we just have an hour with you, and probably won't talk that entire hour. So please utilize the chat, and we'll real time go through some questions as they come up. So let's talk about Cloud Club. Cloud Club is a retention program that we have that allows you as a Kandy UCaaS reseller, distributor, to be able to leverage what you buy today in Skyvera products on an annual basis. That amount is available to you in these other products. And we'll talk about the logistics of that. But most all of us have a Netflix type of subscription. And just like Netflix, when you go in and you pay your monthly fee to Netflix, you get access to all the different videos and movies and series and stuff like that. So it's similar in concept to that. So it does give you access at no additional charge to the that amount that you spend annually in the other products. And there's no limit to the number of products that you can get access to. And the pro services or setup or activation, that kind of thing, does cost, but the licenses, the subscriptions, or the RTUs, real-time licenses, you would be able to get at that no charge. So how does it work? Again, we calculate how much you're spending, and then that's the amount that you can basically go shopping and all the other products that might be of interest to you. And so it's a very easy way for you to get access to that software or those tools out there. An example here is if you're spending $100,000 a year with us in Kandy UCaaS, let's say, or Teams Direct Routing, and then you can take $100,000 of that and get up to however many, 5, 10 other products at no cost. Each one of those, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. So as you can see, you know, with an example of 5, you'd have $500,000 of stuff that you wouldn't have to pay for, but you would if there was set up on that. But you could get that on a multitude of products. So we have a pretty broad portfolio of this, and we'll share this again at the end. But what we're going to touch on today is the Togi. We'll talk about Whoosh, which is an interesting way for a Twilio replacement. We'll talk about CloudFix. We'll talk about NewNet. You guys should know about Kandy already. We'll talk about Response Tech, Service Gateway, and just a little bit about the STL. But again, if there are other things here you see that you might be of interest, please by all means let me know or contact your sales account rep, and we can go through these in more detail. Okay, so without further ado here, let's how would this even work for you? So there's some of these products that absolutely can save you in IT development. And so that cost, these products would help you save there. And so that's great. You could use it personally in your own business. The other is there's some products that actually help you roll out new product introduction and pull things together and do analysis on. And so that would be a cost savings for you too in your business. But the other side of this, which is really exponential growth for you, is that if you resell this, any of these products, then that means that you don't have any cost on it and you keep all the margin. So what you sell it for is 100% margin. And so again, you get it at no cost and you can sell it for whatever and you keep all the margin. So those are great. All the profits are yours. So keep that in mind as we go through these. And again, not only are you using it, but do your downstream customers need something like this? And so think in those terms as we move forward. All right, so I'm going to hand it over now. Again, Todd Ramsey, our Chief Revenue Officer. But before we do, I'm going to launch a polling question. And I'd like for you guys just a yes, no answer. I've got a couple of them here. So let's start off with the first one. So give a couple of seconds here. Again, the question is, are you using Amazon Web Services today in your business? Okay, great, thank you. So it's kind of 50-50 there. Some of you are, some of you are not. So thank you for that. All right, so let's close that one, and let me do one more here. Do your downstream customers use AWS, Amazon Web Services? So I'll give you about 30 seconds for that one as well. So it's looking good. We're about 70% or so. It's kind of going back and forth. All right, so 60-40, 60% use Amazon Web Services. Okay, good deal. Well, I'm going to hand it over to Todd now.
Thanks, Sarah. This really is applicable more to, well, in fact, entirely to the AWS individuals either using AWS or where your downstream customers are AWS customers. As we've talked about in previous sessions, Skyvera has and Telco DR has a very unique structure. When we acquire organizations, we keep the operating entities, the applications within Skyvera, but we take parts of that code and spin it off into the Totogi space. So Totogi is our web focused, our cloud focused business piece. So charging as a service is a subset of the Totogi product line. And really what it is it's a way in which organizations can very rapidly create and deploy charging plans. For those of you that have history in, I'll call it, fixed line old world telco, like myself, when we would launch a new rate plan, could often take months. By the time the marketing team and the research team put together the plan, and then we involve the back office to code those plans. It was a fairly extensive project to launch a new rate plan, and to test was virtually impossible. The difference here is with Totogi, it's all done very, very rapidly. And so because everything is plugged into the system, there is no technical expertise, that huge technical debt and overhead that many telcos and MVNOs carry. An organization can very rapidly, even with geofencing, set up a specific rate plan. So if I wanted to test a new rate plan in Dallas, we could put a box around Dallas, set up a rate plan within that, and then launch it virtually within a couple of hours, right out to the end customer. So it gives a very rapid way to test new rates, but more importantly, a very rapid way to deploy in new geographies and new technologies. And so it's that compression, and as you all know, the time is money in this case. So that compression of the rollout of plans means that your customers will see revenue faster, and they can then adjust also their marketing plays based upon the results. Sarah, if you want to jump ahead. And the way it works from a Totogi point of view is it's pay per use. So there's not a lot of cost to get involved from your client point of view with a Totogi charging system. We've seen organizations use this as their primary charging system, but also as a disaster recovery. With a lot of the uncertainty in some geographies globally right now, customers are facing challenges with making sure that their bills are getting out to their customers and revenue continues to flow. When something happens, an unfortunate event happens, like we We have MTN Sudan, for instance, where they've been in a war for months now. The telco still needs to operate. The telco still needs to charge, but they can't do it with their land-based infrastructure, and so they pivot to the cloud and basically have Totogi do all the remote charging as a disaster recovery service. And overall, it's a lower total cost of ownership. Ripping and replacing a charging system in a telco is not an easy venture to undertake. It's a massive project. Whereas in this case, we can have Totogi deployed in a very short period of time, and often run parallel to do comparisons with some of the larger providers. So that's Totogi in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the charging of Totogi in a nutshell.
So we have a video clip, and so we've loaded this. This is different for us, so it will mute everything down. So I'm going to go ahead and start it, and you should see it come through.
Does your current charger, your primary monetization system, use AI to generate new revenue? No, it does not. Your current charger is a ledger, only capturing a moment in time. Newsflash, your legacy tech can't help you. But there's a new AI-powered charging system that can. Totogi, the world's leading cloud-first multi-tenant SaaS monetization platform for modern MNOs and MVNOs. Totogi uses generative AI and machine learning to create pathways to new revenue. Only Totogi's charging as a service automatically designs hyper-personalized plans, predicts churn to retain subscribers, leverages machine learning to increase ARPU, even uses Gen AI to write marketing copy for you. How? Totogi's monetization platform is truly cloud native, which means your MVNO will tap into the latest technologies from AWS, such as cloud databases, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. It also means Totogi is fast, flexible, and scalable. So instead of launching new services in months or weeks, you can do it in days. Imagine, you want to launch a new plan that competes with your rival's offer of unlimited talk and 5 GB data. With Totogi, there's no coding required and no long delays. You just say, create a plan to target subscribers who travel internationally and love streaming movies and music, and voila! Totogi creates an optimal plan for you at the best price point based on data-driven insights. How cool is that? And that's not all. Totogi's Plan AI system generates hyper-personalized plans designed to stop churn and increase ARPU. Plan AI uses machine learning to create micro-offers for individual subscribers and to generate hyper-personalized plans. It even uses Gen AI to create the offer messages for you. Totogi is a whole new kind of charger. And with our simple and transparent pricing model, pay only for what you use. No hidden fees, no long-term contracts, no hassle. See for yourself how Totogi can supercharge your MVNO.
Great, thank you. And so now we're going to move to having Todd talk about Whoosh, is a new product that we've developed.
So thank you, Sarah. So that video, the previous video, summed up in a much more articulate way some of the items that I was trying to raise. So if there's an interest in the Totogi charging, reach out to your local sales rep, and we'll bridge across to the Totogi team and bring the right folks to the table to have those conversations. But in terms of Whoosh, this is a new way of looking at how to recapture some of the Twilio related revenue that's out there. So one of the challenges that either enterprise customers or providers are facing is the increasing cost of their Twilio charges. So when you're looking at using APIs to send the API connection to send SMSs back and forth, and really doing the overall person-to-person connection, whether that's booking a tire change at your local auto store, or that's actually requesting detailed confirmations of other shipments, etc. There's lots of different ways that SMS is being used by companies to go back and forth. The challenge with Twilio, as it stands right now in their coding, is that it uses least cost routing, which means its revenue flows away from your customers and into the potentially their competitors, but also Twilio charges a fairly hefty fee for that service. What Whoosh does is steps in the middle, and it's literally a 10-minute. I've seen them do this, a 10-minute code change to redirect those SMSs from the Twilio portal and Twilio APIs into the Totogi Whoosh APIs, and then that redirects the traffic to your customers' network. But also from a charging point of view, it's much more attractive for the enterprises. And so what it does is it allows you to leverage all of your investments, your customers to leverage all of their investments in their own core, rather than having to exchange back and forth as much the rights to use someone else's core. And because it's using the same APIs and the developer community is out there is no learning curve. It truly is just a different color of Lego block in the system. So, Sarah?
Great, thank you. Did you want to speak about this, or did you already cover it?
I think I already did that.
Yeah, you did. I apologize. I should have been ahead.
And there was a conversation in the one video that talked about churn prediction service. In fact, talked about both of these items. The API-driven services allow you to do auto planning, whether that's redirecting from a Whoosh point of view or from a charging point of view with the core charging system in Totogi. We heavily use generative AI to go through all of the details and come back with the best possible plan for either an enterprise on Whoosh or an enterprise using the Totogi charging. Tied into that is the churn predictor service, and so the system will analyze traffic patterns, and as traffic patterns change, use this as a predictor of whether or not your customer is heading somewhere else. And again, all of those things are very valuable, and the churn predictor service is available right now as part of the charging system.
Great. And when you get this at the end of today's session, there are links in here that have videos, and they go through quite a bit more detail. So make sure you take a look at that. Great. Thank you, Todd. All right, now we're going to move to CloudFix, and I have a couple more of the polling questions, and David Pepping, who's the Director of Global Partners, is going to join us for this. So let's start this first one. And the question is, is your company a mobile network operator? Do you basically sell wireless services? Are you an MVNO, a virtual network operator, or not? So if you'll take the time here, it just helps us know as we position these things. All right, so a couple more seconds there. All right, so most of you are not. So thank you for that. I've got, there you go, a couple more, good, all right. And I've got one more that is about, do you have downstream customers or resellers that are mobile operators, whether they be mobile network operators, they own the equipment, or virtual, they have agreements for that to sell wireless, cellular, that kind of stuff. So just a few more, if you'll it's just a yes or no. that again helps us to know best as we talk to you about things. So it's about 50-50. All right. And now we'll jump over to David to talk about CloudFix.
Great, thanks, Sarah. Can you guys hear and see me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. So CloudFix is a cloud optimization platform built specifically for AWS. So much like Totogi, it's built on AWS for AWS consumers. And so if there's one sort of takeaway I'd like you to remember about CloudFix, it's that CloudFix delivers automated cloud savings for AWS. So automatically scans your AWS accounts and then automatically applies cost savings optimizations. And so how does it do automated savings? So there's basically 3 steps to it. There are these things called AWS advisories. And so essentially what those are is AWS releases what they call advisories on a regular basis. This is like things like blog post or essentially, blog posts that they post on their website. And a lot of these advisories, not all of them, but a lot of them are recommended changes for usage that lead to cost savings. So they're literally telling their users, hey, if you make these changes on your AWS environment, it'll lead to savings. They're typically like really small things, simple changes that are easy to execute. But your team essentially would have to monitor the AWS advisory releases, learn how to implement them, and then ultimately perform the changes one at a time. So the first thing that CloudFix does is it keeps up with the advisories and then automatically scans through all of your AWS accounts for these recommendations. And then it actually does the implementations of the changes for you. The second thing that CloudFix does is it does continuous scanning. So CloudFix is not just like a one-time, why wouldn't we just purchase CloudFix for a month, get all the savings from it and then abandon the product? And it's because these advisories are released on a regular basis. So there are sometimes a dozen released in a month, several per quarter. And so you want to continuously make sure that all of your environments are up to date and being monitored for constant maintenance. So one example that I like to use is anytime you spin up like a new S3 bucket. So this is getting kind of like into AWS speak here a little bit, but anytime you spin up a new S3 bucket, it's still generated as a GP2 storage type. And so the advisory to change from GP2 to GP3, that has existed for like over a year. And so it's just one of the ways, so anytime you spin up a new S3 bucket, it could immediately be optimized. And so instead of having to make that change manually, CloudFix continuously does that for you. And then the third thing is the automation part of it. So this is sort of the big shtick for AWS, or excuse me, for CloudFix, is that it's an automation tool. So this is something that you can ultimately control. You can shut off the automation if you want total control of your environment. But if you are comfortable with going from GP2 to GP3, for example, and you're tired of manually making those changes, then you can just set CloudFix to automatically make those changes anytime it bumps into that particular advisory on your cloud environment. So now you can turn that automation on and off, as I mentioned. So we do have some like DoD customers, defense contract companies, financial institutions that want total control over the ultimate changes made on their cloud environment. And so they switch the automation off and they just use the tool for the scanning and recommendation purposes. And then they have their environment go in there and do the changes manually. So perfect. And then this basically is just an example of some of the optimizations, or as we call, CloudFix calls them, we call them fixes. And I already talked a little bit about S2 to S3, or excuse me, GP2 to GP3. That's one of the examples there. Again, adding to this regularly, so there are dozens of these coming out all the time, and there are several available now beyond these 3. And then also just wanted to point out a shot at the user interface there. So that's the actual CloudFix tool itself.
Yeah, and we do have a video that goes through this, so let me just bring that up.
AWS offers incredible performance, agility, and scalability. Controlling costs, however, is often a challenge. Plenty of solutions claim to help save money, but which ones actually deliver? Standard cost optimization tools just focus on visibility. They do a good job showing you where you spend, but that's where they stop. It's up to your team to figure out where, when, and how to realize AWS cost savings. And that takes precious time and resources. Change the game entirely with CloudFix. Unlike visualization tools, CloudFix actively saves you money by automatically identifying and implementing AWS recommended opportunities to reduce costs. From optimizing configurations to right-sizing instances to cleaning up idle resources, CloudFix makes it easy to pay less for AWS. Let's see how it works. CloudFix monitors the 50-plus advisories that AWS releases every week and builds fixers that can fix the issue either in deployment or in your code. To find opportunities for cost savings, CloudFix performs a secure assessment to identify the fixes that can be run safely, automatically, and in line with AWS best practices. CloudFix uses a least privilege model with no elevated permissions, no agents or code installed, all native AWS tools and services, and no access to your data. Unlike other tools, CloudFix doesn't only find opportunities for savings, it automates them too. You keep full control over what, when, and how the fixes are applied, while benefiting from ongoing, always-on cost optimization. Because we only focus on the optimizations that are completely risk-free when run automatically, you get dramatic cost savings that are 100% secure. Ready to find out how much you could save with CloudFix? Take our free savings assessment to get a custom report specific to your AWS environment. You'll find out how much you can save immediately, which fixers can be applied, and what to expect in annual savings, easily, quickly, and always securely. Just click the button to start your savings assessment and kick off non-stop AWS savings with CloudFix.
Great, thank you. All right, thanks, David. And so now we'll jump into a couple other of the products. One that is really of interest to me when I first came on to Skyvera is Response Tech, because I was part of leading the customer experience and customer success team. We were really wanting to listen to our customers and find ways that we can calculate the metrics without having to develop them ourselves. And so as we looked at that, there's several avenues and streams in order to, and inputs, data inputs. And so this is really a management platform for that, Response Tech. It was an acquisition and pulls from multiple sources. So it has a listening platform that, it listens to things, whether that channel is your social media feeds, whether that is your customer support, like your agents that are handling cases and sales, inside sales, or anything like that. What your customers are saying. Also surveys that maybe you give out about customer satisfaction, or after the end of a case, a support case, maybe you have surveys there. All that data coming in will help predict churn, will help predict whether or not they're a growing business. They could be a reference for you, and so on. So there are a couple of links to this. We do have some, I do have one video to share about it as well that kind of shows the capabilities, but I thought it was pretty interesting, particularly around, having that knowledge. And whenever you go to do a renewal with a customer, or your sales team is going to pitch another solution or an opportunity for them, it's important information to know before they walk in the door, before they have that call, if that particular customer is losing ground, they're unhappy, they're very frustrated. And so that will help them tremendously in those engagements. So there are a few, it helps build loyalty, as I mentioned, about having customer references and how you target things in your resale. So let me show you a quick video about that. It won't take very long at all. And I'm covering the voice of the customer. Here we go.
Every brand has a promise. Regardless of where the customer interaction takes place, there is an expectation on how that customer is treated. Executive decisions are made, training manuals are created, and voila, frontline employees are ready to live that expectation. But what if it's not that easy? What if delivered experience doesn't live up to the brand promise? How does your business know when this is happening and which customers it's affecting? Imagine your business sells through the web, retail stores, and its call center. The call center is a key channel with 500 agents dealing with sales and support calls from customers. Let's say the agent takes on an average of 6 calls per hour that last 6 to 8 minutes each. That means this team fields about 22,000 calls a day and 135,000 calls per week. That's a whopping 6.75 million calls, which is over 40 million minutes of call time. These 500 agents have an instrumental impact on the customer experience each week. Your front lines are the face and voice of your brand every day. Do you know what's being said to every customer every time? And how does this get measured? Traditional call sampling would listen to less than 2,000 of these 135,000 calls. That's only 1.5%. Is your company comfortable ignoring the remaining 98.5%? At Response Tech, we think this approach to customer experience is the same as driving blindfolded and only peeking at the road ahead. That isn't how you navigate the road. So why run a business this way? Picture your organization, all the way from your executives' offices to your frontline staff, and consider 3 key questions. 1. Did your customers have a good experience today? Who throughout your organization can answer this? 2. Which customers are happy today? What about unhappy? And 3. Do you know what improvements will impact the customer experience the most? Answering these 3 questions creates visibility for the road ahead. How your front line interacts with customers can have consequential effects on the overall experience. If you are able to monitor and learn from what customers are saying during 675,000 hours of phone calls, imagine the value the business can gain in terms of product insight, customer trends, market awareness, and employee training. Response Tech's listening platform delivers an enterprise view of these insights on a continuous basis. By collecting and distributing automated and tailored results throughout your entire organization, all employees can understand their impact on the customer experience through all channels. They'll be able to answer those 3 key questions, bridging the gap of brand expectation and experience. With Response Tech, these agents now have a continuous connection with the experiences of hundreds of thousands of customers each week that are helping the company understand more about its products, its market, and most importantly, the quality of the brand experience its employees deliver. Customers' expectations are changing, and if you are going to succeed, you need to drive with your eyes wide open, considering the entire customer experience all the time.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. The next product is Service Gateway, and I think this one will be pretty interesting to you. Many of you who are doing, Kandy UCAS today know that the KBS platform and provisioning does do zero-touch provisioning for certain devices like Yealink and Poly and so on. But there are other devices that you're deploying out to your customers, and so some of you have residential services and business services, and there are other devices that might be of interest to manage and then be able to do policies and other things moving forward. So let me just kind of show you bits and pieces of this. And so this platform would be installed in your NOC center, and then you can see diagnostic information. It's not just like Yealink has their platform, Poly has their platform, Edgemark, others have their platforms, but what about a platform that kind of pulls all of that in and uses standards TR 069, I believe, for that? And so there are a lot of products out there that if you enable that, you have to change it in the config file of the firmware, config file to flip it on, basically, to do that. And it can report it and manage it from there. So anyway, I think this would be of interest to the majority of you. So you could use it in your NOC center. If you have downstream resellers, they could put it in their NOC center as well. So a few of these, and this is where I really started digging into this of interest, is that obviously the Poly, Yealink, Audio Code, Cisco, Ribbon, Grandstream, but some of you use Calix and Adtran, and there's many others out there, and even like some of the network gear, firewalls, managed firewalls, those types of things also support the same protocol. And so this platform would allow you to manage firmware and config files and set policies and tie into your billing platforms and stuff like that. But helping you in support diagnose issues, but also help you standardize firmware and config files and just have a better view of what's going on. So yes, Kandy does bits and pieces of that, but they don't do it to this level. And so I think this might be one that might be of interest to many of you. So please let me know and your sales rep about that. And then now I'm going to hand it over to David Pepping again about one that is a mobile focus. So David.
Sure, thanks again, Sarah. So yeah, so we're going to just talk really briefly about NewNet. Again, just like super high level. And so this slide here is essentially just stating the business case for NewNet, which is A2P is now exceeding P2P messaging in a lot of cases. And so it's super important to support it, invest in it, but also take advantage of some of the possible marketing revenue that could be capitalized on. And so those are some of the key benefits of NewNet there. The banner statement with NewNet is that NewNet provides an A2P SMS messaging core. So a system that delivers SMS messages to mobile telco subscribers from automated originators like banks, hospitals, retails, universities, those types of like automated messaging that comes from them, like appointment reminders, those types of things. And so this helps support those core functionalities. This product is installed on-premise, and so this is where the Cloud Club brand really is just a name. It's just the name of our basically our customer and partner program. And so I just keep that in mind with this product. It is an on-premise solution. And so, yeah, so a high level overview of some of the features of NewNet. It provides an SMS firewall, which applies blocking and filtering rules to protect network users. So that's one of the core modules within NewNet. NewNet is a suite of like different modules that you can deploy. And so the SMS firewall would be one module. Another one is the application gateway, so allows telco operators to capture A2P information, those automated messages, again, so like flight notifications, appointment reminders, those types of things, and allows for tracking and taking advantage of additional revenue types. So you can sort of glean information from intel from that information that's being passed through the SMSC, and then act upon it. And then the third one I wanted to highlight was the IPSM gateway, which basically enables sending and receiving messages between 2G, 3G, and 4G networks. And so that's really popular in some of our foreign markets. So that's deployed in Latin America primarily, places in Europe and Africa as well. So those are three sort of the main highlights that I wanted to highlight about NewNet. It is a pretty robust, stable, solid product, but it is an on-premise solution, and we do still have a lot of in-house expertise of NewNet as well. So yeah, one of these products we could get super into the weeds on, but just wanted to keep it high level for the purposes of today's discussion. And so yeah, that's all I had to say, I guess, on NewNet.
Thank you. And then we'll come back now to Todd Ramsey, And this is a recent acquisition about the same time that Kandy was acquired by Skyvera. So, Todd?
Thanks, Sarah. So as Sarah said, the Kandy acquisition and the STL acquisition took place within a week of each other. So we've been fairly busy, kind of coming up to speed on all of the products and services that are provided by both organizations. And STL, which is the Sterilite software business, Sterilite STL itself is a large Indian fiber company. They of course they maintain their larger business, but they sold their entire software business to us. And really, what it is at its core is it's a series of products and services built around the OSS BSS stack. And so you'll see some of these solutions may not apply to some of your customers, to many of your customers, in fact. But there are other pieces that are tangential, like AAA and Wi-Fi, that are very very relevant to your business. And so when you look at all of the things that are within the BSS system, it is a complete end-to-end solution that's being offered. Sarah, if you can, yeah, perfect. And so and then kind of driving further in, Wi-Fi service management and AAA, which is authentication, authorization, and accounting, as well as legal intercept is also part of this concept that's out there. And for those of you that aren't really aware of what legal intercept is, that's where the government mandates the operators monitor and intercept any traffic that is creates national risk, potentially, or is tied to crimes where they have to come back and check on data for evidence. All of that's built into those systems as well. We see a lot of that, not so much in the North American space, but that's heavily utilized Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific.
Right. We do have one polling question before we continue. So if you guys will take, this is about whether or not you sell broadband services, Wi-Fi equipment, or not. And as we drill down into more of the Wi-Fi service management here, that'll help us. So appreciate you taking the time. Just 30 seconds is it? Looks like the majority of you do, so thank you for that. And we'll give a couple more seconds here. Great, thank you. And we'll continue on.
So this is one of those complex eye charts that product folks like to put up, and we'll rather than go in through detail on this particular point, the key aspect and what we want you to understand from this is that our Wi-Fi service management platform, which can work with the broadband products, in fact, is heavily utilized in some geographies for that. Covers end to end, and so everything from the top left where you've got network congestions all the way down to user experience and monetization. Those solutions are baked into that entire platform, so the Wi-Fi platform. And as you look at the challenges down the left, some of your customers may have all of these challenges, some may have one or two. As you look at the broadband space, the key thing to take from this eye chart is really that there are distinct solutions that can be provided, again, through Cloud Club for your customers. And then as much as the software and the maintenance is included as part of Cloud Club, professional services are extra, but the value of a customer, the value that you bring to the customer increases exponentially. And so if there's questions specific around Wi-Fi, AAA, all of that, then we can connect you with the right individual from our pre-sales team to help you help your customer. And then kind of wrapping up where Sarah was before, the overall portfolio continues to grow. We continue to acquire companies. And as a key tenet of Cloud Club is, as we acquire more companies and therefore more software applications, those applications automatically become available to you. And so, we've talked through a lot of these today, and we can certainly go in greater detail one-on-one with each of you. In fact, that's probably the right call to action, is if you've seen something that has piqued your interest, that you believe that you would like to know more about, so that you can share with customers, please reach out and we'll connect you with the right individuals internally. Sarah?
Thank you. Thanks, Todd. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Simon to wrap us up. And again, just reiterate, thank you for your time and attention to this. And thank you for answering the polling questions. It's definitely helped us to target things better, that, only things that would be of interest to you. And so again, thank you for spending the time with us. Simon?
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for participating in the session. I know it was a little different with the polling questions and the videos and everything. I really appreciate the participation that you guys put in there. Do want to talk just real briefly. We do have another fireside chat coming up December 7th. That one's going to be on call answer groups. We're going to take a deep dive into call answer groups, talk about the various options that are available to you there, and talk about some tips and tricks and things when setting those up. So if you haven't already, go to kandy.io/events and sign up for the call answer group webinar. Again, that'll be December 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go ahead and register for it, and then you'll get all the notifications and everything else. Other than that, guys, I appreciate your time, and we will go ahead and wrap the session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.